Hi, friends. I'm not sure what take this is. I think it's like 5 or 6. I'm not going to go through the list of the things that went wrong in the other takes. But I'm here in Utah. This is where I went to college. Go Utes. Today the president stood on the roof of the White House and waved his arms around and shouted a bunch of things. Not sure about what. Maybe about maybe it was literally old man shouts at clouds. Maybe it was kind of a man-made weather thing. I don't know what that was about. But I'm here in Utah. Obviously, Salt Lake City is a very blue island in a sea of red. And this is where I was living when 9/11 happened. It was actually just a month or two into my freshman year. So this is where I kind of had a bit of a baptism by fire in a lot of ways, as far as my political education is concerned. This is where I first met trans folks, where I first started befriending a lot of LGBTQ plus people. So all you folks who think that trans people just appeared in the last few years, it's not the case. They've been around for millennia. It's just odd, because I grew up Mormon, and I grew up, learning about Jesus, and the love of God, and compassion. And, it's just odd that, a state that prides itself on the teachings of Jesus would support a very non-Christ-like individual. This state went 20%, 20 points over supporting Trump. Now, with Trump's numbers being what they are, it's more like 10 points over. But still, it's like, how does a state like Utah support a guy who is just not very Christ-like in his words or actions? About the only thing he has in common with Jesus Christ is he's a cult leader. So, how do you square that circle? I don't know. I can't answer that question. All I know is I'm here in Utah, where the motto of Utah is industry. Big capital, I keep doing that. An exclamation point at the end. Industry. So it's kind of the industriousness of this state. It's the beehive state, They're all about the bees. They know the secret of the bees over here. I'm here for a few days visiting family and trying to make content. The great thing about Donald Trump is that, he's a nonstop reservoir of content. He's always doing something you can comment on. Hey, how's it going? Hey, buddies. Hi there. Hi. What am I doing? All right. I had to say hi to some dogs. Anyway. So I don't want, a channel where I just talk about Trump all the time. However, I will say that when I do talk about Trump, his supporters tend to show up in my comments, which helps my channel, which is great. And I'm trying to get, over 100 subscribers. So if you're out there and you support Trump, subscribe to my channel, and you'll probably hear me talk about him. It's odd. I've talked about this before, how it's just we elect this guy who's every ugly American stereotype you can possibly think of. And in a way, it's people talk about how, woke is dead because Trump, which is an interesting idea. It kind of makes it feel like he's laying it out, he's laying all our more negative qualities out to show, America, we pride ourselves on freedom, helping others. I, you know, the good parts of America does. You know, freedom and democracy. We have a reputation for generosity and helping those in need who, you know, maybe are under the yoke of tyranny. Trump kind of shows that, you know, there's another side of the coin. You know, there's all these like Gen Z kids who don't even like support the Constitution, which is odd to see. So there's this generation of little fashy shitheads who make me really nervous about the future of the country. You know, I think I've talked about this before, but we take it for granted that, like, I took it for granted anyway, that things were just going to get better, that we would have, you know, we would progress forward. But that's not happening, and part of the reason why is it's not all about Trump. You know, the Democratic Party has problems. We'll say that. You know, Democratic Party polling numbers. Motorcycle gang. Democratic Party polling numbers are just as low as Trump's, and a lot of that has to do with not having an answer for Trump other than not Trump. You know, I've been saying this for decades. That it's like, you can't just have, we're not the Republicans. You gotta have something more than that. You gotta have an answer, and not just, you know, not just not just a non-response to a question. You have to have an answer. And I took it for granted that, like, the Democratic Party would eventually come around to supporting things like universal health care and trans rights and you know, abortion, you know, free and not free, but you know, sorry, reproductive rights. You know, it's not just about the abortion. It's about finding STDs and having access to condoms and pills that can help you out. That's a topic for another video, I think. But my point is this: this state went 20 points red in the last election. Now it's more like 10 points red. This state was founded on the teachings of Jesus Christ, you know, who said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Trump is not a peacemaker. In fact, he's quite the opposite. So we all have a lot to learn. I have a lot to learn. Utah has a lot to learn. The country has a lot to learn. And as long as we're laying it out all on the line, showing off our bad qualities, we have to show off our good qualities as well. So I'm gonna keep talking about stuff that I believe in, and I hope you will too. Even if you're wrong, I hope you'll talk to me and your neighbors and the people online who I'm pretty sure are real. I'm pretty sure they're not robots. I hope you have a good day. I'm gonna try to. I'm still working on filming something every day. That's my goal. I'm up to like once every 1 or 2 weeks, but I want to do it every day because the people need to know. All right. Like I said, this is like take 5, so I'm already exhausted. You have a great day, wherever you are, and whoever you are. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get to over 100 followers. You know, the Midas Touch Network is over 5 million followers. I think I can get over 100 followers. So, peace out. Oh my God.